Hey everybody, welcome to Ready Set Crypto. This is Doc Severson. Today is Wednesday, the 25th of October in 2023, and we have ourselves a little bit of a rally on our hands. How about that? Seems to be like it's been forever. It's been years. Actually, it has almost been 2 years since we've really had significant upside action like what we've seen recently. The move off the bottom so far this year has been a bit of a grinder, and now we're getting into that sort of parabolic move. All right, let's see what's going on today. I want to know where you guys are coming in from today. So if you could, let us know where you're located and what pairs you'd like to see. That's what we'll do today. We're here for you guys, not for me. We're here for you so we can go over your coin pairs, interact, ask questions, and see if we can agree on where things are going. All right. So we got Seb checking in. Hey, Seb, long time no see. Glad to see you here. We got Fishing for Crypto coming in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Welcome aboard. Good to see you. While you guys are checking in, I'm just going to talk about some charts here. This is the 10-year note yield. This is the third rail. Once it's hit 5%, then everybody has been selling everything just about and going into these bonds. Bonds have been like dropping like a stone, but the yields have been great. Hey, Math checking in from Seattle. Good to see you out there. So this is what is pushing the market. This is a measurement of inflation is what the yields are. So as a result of that, what we've been seeing now, and I think a lot of this has been built up pressure. I mean, my God, we've been talking about ETFs for how many years? We've been talking about ETFs for the past 5 years of like, hey, can we get an ETF? And is this going to work? Exchange traded fund. The reason why that's important is because that creates, let me get my magic pen going here. What that creates is a huge hopper of institutional money, right? So think of it this way, like all of this money overseas, internationally, wherever it comes from, will funnel into eventually into the, it goes straight into, it's going to have to go into spot at some point. If this is a BTC ETF, you've got to balance that out versus spot, right? So that's kind of what Michael Saylor's been doing. Is like he's been running his own ETF. He buys Bitcoin for his company, and so you can just buy shares of his company. That's a proxy way to get into Bitcoin investment. And this is what's working right now. This is what's working. We want to get that institutional money, regardless of your thoughts of independence. Institutional money coming into BTC is going to drive things like this. This is what's going to happen when we get an ETF. In fact, it's going to happen well before that. Probably the day that the ETF comes out for trading will be the relative high. It will probably be sold right into that move. So be careful of that. Play into the speculation of it. And watch out for the actual event for that. We got Ronnie. Good afternoon. Could you look at Theta? And thanks from Columbus. Flavortown, Ohio. All right. Hey, Karsten, good to see you. So that's BTC. Now, what I want to do is, while you guys are bringing up coin pairs that you want to look at, so go ahead and write those into the chat room. I'm going to look at some of the ones the last time that we talked. Some of you guys talked about, hey, could you look at this coin pair? So here's Veracity. And this was back at Veracity. We were looking at it when it was like, 0.05 cents. And now it's been doing pretty well. So that's Veracity versus Tether. There's also Caspa. Let's see where this one is at. Caspa versus Tether. This one's been very good holding trend line. Right, so we talked about this back here in October. Want to make sure this trend line holds. It did. So that one's looking good. Another coin pair that is looking really good is TRB. TRB versus Tether. And this thing has been super. Look at this thing go. Since we've been talking, back here on October 4th was the last time we got together. They had this consolidation, ripped off the trend line, and has gone from 50 to over 110. This is more than doubled. So we're getting 2x, we're getting 10x, this type of stuff. And we're not even into the bull market yet, guys. We're not even into the bull market. I think this may be different this time. A lot of people, I've read a lot of analysts saying, well, the halving is not until April. So, keep your hands, to yourself and keep things quiet because we won't get a rally until the halving. Well, we've been through several cycles now, and everybody knows how this has played out. I think what we're going to see, instead of waiting until the halving and then having a bull market, is everything gets pushed up. Everything gets pushed up. Once people figure out the game, they're like, hey, how can I game that? How can I get in front of that move? And so there's going to be a rush to get in front of the next halving, and it may be starting right now. All right, so the halving may actually be the top of things, the relative top of things. So keep at it right now. Buy things that are heading higher in price. Okay. All right, Karsten, so we just did look at TRB. That might have been one of yours that you brought up 3 weeks ago. Okay, I'm going to check in. Let's see. I'm going to start by looking at Ronnie's Theta. Let's look at Theta. Theta versus US dollar. That'll work. Okay. Theta versus US dollar. Now, I'm always going to be very skeptical when the market's ripping like it is. What's moving? What's moving with the market? And alts are not really moving that much with the market yet. This is mostly a big cap rally, right? This is mostly a big cap rally. A lot of that is because of the fact that BTC is going to be the subject of perhaps an ETF at some point here. Again, a lot of speculation. And we're going to have, certain other things like Solana has been moving and everything like that. But a lot of coins have not been. A lot of coins have not been. Like Theta is one example of, be patient right now. You've got to wait. It's almost like playing football. If you guys have played football before, it doesn't matter whether it's the European kind or the American kind. You've got to let your line open things up for you so that you've got a hole to run through. And that's what you need Bitcoin to do. Bitcoin is kind of like the 320-pound offensive tackle that's going to open up some space that the alts can follow later. So alts will always follow once Bitcoin opens up, because people say, hey, what's this crypto thing? Oh, I don't want to pay $60,000 for Bitcoin. Hey, maybe I'll pay 60 cents for Theta. And that may be the time that it starts to move. But right now, what you want to watch for is look for the weekly charts and don't buy anything that's not in a weekly uptrend. So if you're absolutely 100% committed to it, then you can continue to dollar cost average. But myself, I think this is going to be another yet proving. We're going to be in another weeding out on this next. At the end of this bear, whenever this bear finishes up, we're going to end up weeding out more of these, the ones that just don't have a business model to create revenue. Okay, so that's enough on Theta. Let's see. Fishing for crypto. We're going to look at ADA, Cardano versus BTC. So Cardano versus BTC. Now, I got to warn you, when you look at any asset, if you've got BTC in the denominator, if you're using that as your currency basis, if this thing is ripping, what happens when the denominator goes up in a fraction? The entire value goes down. So what you want is you want the numerator to go up, you want the denominator to go down. And that will increase the value of the entire fraction, the currency pair. So right now, even before we look at this, we know that this is going to be in a world of hurt, specifically because Bitcoin's been ripping over the last month or so. Okay, so this is a weekly chart. Let's go down to the daily. And the daily doesn't not look any better right now. Cardano is a weak coin to begin with. I still don't understand why it's in the top 5. It just now in the last few days has gotten a little bit of a pop, but it's still well below the 200-day moving average. This is not something that I'd be looking to accumulate at this time. Wait till it breaks out. Wait till it breaks out. Okay. Next one, let's see. Karsten, we just looked at TRB. MAF, let's look at XRP, the Ripple Army. Okay, so what's going on with Ripple? Now, Ripple has been in this sort of self-imposed base of 55, right? It got up here because of the lawsuit with the SEC or the CFTC, I forget which one it was. But the lawsuit, got settled, and then that's not enough by itself just because of we got that exciting news. That's not enough by itself that Ripple is Ripple's not a, what's the term for it? I'll think of it in a minute. But that was all based on the lawsuit, and now that all of that's gone. So it's kind of still living within this 55-cent overhead base level. So it's got to break out above there, and it's got to have this type of volume to break out of there. It's not got it right now. There's just no volume, right? So you've got to let Bitcoin get through, open up the lines, open up the markets, start to get that capital coming in, and then people will start to look for other assets. So you might almost say that this is a top one or top two rally. Even Ethereum is still below the 200-day moving average. Okay, let's see. The other one that you got there, MAF, is BitF. Let's take a look at that. Do you have, BitF is a stock. Okay, gotcha. So this is Bitfarms stock. Okay, still at the 200-day moving average. So this is not really going anywhere yet. Looks like just about every other crypto chart that's out there, a couple of strong days. But this is not an uptrend yet. Not an uptrend yet. So even though it's cheap, a lot of people like to dollar cost average into cheap, but the problem is that cheap can get cheaper. And so what I'm always looking for is show me something that's moving higher on a weekly uptrend. Show me something that's moving higher on a weekly uptrend. Like here in 2021, this is a weekly uptrend. Okay, so maybe you bought this on a dip down here at 250. Okay, was that really that expensive if the price is up here at 8 and 9 and stuff like that? So yeah, all right, it wasn't 50 cents, but you didn't have to go through all of this stuff, right? This is what we want to avoid. We want to avoid the bear. And the bear's not necessarily over yet. I think it's starting to show it. I believe the bear is over for Bitcoin right now, but for the rest of the market, it's still there. It's still very much there. Okay, any other, do you guys have any other coins that you'd like to look at? I mean, I'm not going to torture you and force you to sit through this, but some of these are starting to do very, very well, right? So Solana, this could be a rounded base, a cup with handle. So watch for consolidation setting up there. That would be very bullish on Solana. So that's one of the ones that's doing better. Tron has been surprisingly good and steady and strong. It's been in this pattern for quite some time. Here's a great example of something that turned itself around. You can see this if you zoom out on the weekly chart. So you zoom out in the weekly chart, lower highs, lower lows, everything sucks. There it is. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Beginning of the year, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. It has moved into a primary uptrend again. And it's still cheap. It's still very inexpensive. So Tron's one of the better ones right now, surprisingly. But so many of these are still looking just so weak, right? So still below the 200-day moving average, the green line, still below the 200. Bitcoin Cash is sort of peripherally doing okay. And a lot of this is due to the fact that it's going to be listed on the EDX exchange, which means it's going to get higher demand by default. So keep your eye on this one. This could be relatively steady going forward. Even Shiba, okay, so they want to be a platform. They want to be an architecture. Leo has been doing better. Let's see, Chainlink has been surprisingly good lately. So Chainlink, this is the example of what we've been talking about. I keep saying, hey, as long as it's under this pattern, stay away from it. And now, boom, 5 days ago, breakout on big volume. Chainlink is back in play now. So one of our favorites is back in play. Okay, so let's see, I've got another request. I think this is Coinbase, right? I'm assuming that's the stock Coinbase. So Coinbase has been not great. I think there's better. I think you can get more bang for your buck on other assets right now. Coinbase has been sort of stuck in a range, and I wouldn't chase after Coinbase until it starts to break 120. So right now, you're just going to get stuck in this range and it's going to beat up both sides of the ledger until it's able to break above 120. So I would just stay away from this one. Or what you can do is you can sell puts. If you know what selling puts is, we have a whole course on that. That works with equities as well as even crypto, right? So you can sell cash secured puts. You can drive a lower cost basis. If you want to know anything about that, let me know, and I'll point you in the right direction. Okay, any last requests for any other coin pairs you want to look at? As I get closer to the bottom of the top 30, this is where we're starting to see, some of these are just not, okay, are we going to go after Ape Coin because now it's gone from $1 to $1.50? Not until the trend changes. Not until the trend changes. All right, guys, it looks like we have hit terminal. We have hit terminal. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for joining me here. We do this about every week or two. So I encourage you to come back and look at this. And don't forget, if you need some help, and I'm going to be re-architecting our service, the readysetcrypto.ONE service. We're going to be really, really focused on this new bull market as it goes out. So we are going to be looking for specific portfolio. The last 2 years of the bear, we've just been dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, doing what you can during a bear, which is not much, right? So keep dollar cost averaging into assets that you want. And then we're going to transition into alts at some time, probably 6 to 12 months or so, when the bull market starts to rip. Once we get into the halving and everything like that, and we're going to be all over that. We're going to be looking for the 100x pairs. So I encourage you guys to check us out and let me know if there's anything I can do to help you guys. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Enjoy the green candles. You guys take care now. Adios.